Hi, welcome back. I'm going to show you how some of my students created their imagery. If you see here, this fish, if you look closely at the fish, you can see the different techniques that they use. We see the loose coil, we see they alternated, very imaginative here. They put two pieces of paper together to create a black and white look to it. They used a teardrop here. They used the altered teardrop here and here. And then some of the kids made up some shapes. So this shape here is called the moon shape. I didn't show you that shape. That's the moon shape. But as you can see, just piecing together different types of shapes will give you the design that you want, and you decide. And allowing the kids to be as creative as possible with their designs, having the student came up with himself, glued the pieces of paper together so that they could have this strand of black and white along here. Also using the different types of colors within the fish instead of having one solid color fish. Thought that was a beautiful idea. This student created this eagle, and as you see, a lot of loose shapes, and then they just altered the shape of the loose coil, and they just created these oblong type shapes. And then sometimes they use tight coils in order to just piece things together a little bit tighter. And then here you can see the student even used very, very tiny coils, and that's when you would take your strip of paper and not use the whole thing because it's going to give you a big one, but rather cut the strip in half or even smaller depending on what size coil that you would like. So this student experimented and did smaller pieces because they wanted all of their things to touch together and they didn't want it to be loose. In some areas, they went back in and they curled the inside of their coils so that it would have this wide open look and then a little tight coil here. I thought that was very creative. And then here they faded a dark brown with a medium brown and a lighter brown or beige color into the gray color. As you can see, they did that. Again, learning about color that they learned about in Art 1 and then using it to create their design. Next, we have this fish, and I'm going to show you what it looks like underneath. You can see this a little bit of clearness in it. They try and take off as much as they can, but that's the reason why I suggested that you have plastic wrap and a piece of cardboard. You cover the cardboard with the plastic wrap, just tape it together. You also can undo it. I have my students undo it. And depending on the size, they can place their design directly into it so that they can be doing it right on top of their plastic and have their design in hand. So that's why you see this plastic, because they peeled it off. I wanted to show you this student. So they used very creative. They took long, just plain strips, and they had them run the length so that it came out, and they had these long pieces coming out of the fish to elongate and give the illusion of that sort of wispiness that these fish have. This was their beta fish that they had. And they decided to add the bubbles that would be created from the fish. So again, the contrast of the colors they used, the combination of the different values of the same color or same color family is used well in here. And then along with these long strips to accentuate and give that idea of flowing. And here you see the tight coils and then the loose coils. Again, allowing your students to be creative with this and really express themselves using the coil design process is a great way for them to create this project. This tree design, I'll keep it under here. The student basically used mostly tight coils with a big opening, and how you do that is the students did it around a pencil because they wanted to have that open space look to it. Otherwise, they used it around the the skewer for the tight openings. So again, your students can decide. And then they altered some of them from the tight coil, and they did it where they had very sort of squished teardrop or squished coil shapes. And then they added the leaf designs that I showed earlier. This last student, they did the giraffe, and they didn't want just the giraffe. They thought there's too weak in some areas. So they came up with putting some loose coils around and then some designs down here to give it the idea of grass or flowers underneath at the bottom of the giraffe. And so they didn't want to make the giraffe to be an exact replica of what a giraffe colors would be. They wanted to be creative with their design. So they used a purple and this yellow color, violet color. They actually thought about their colors, and they used a yellow orange and this violet, sort of off violet color. And then they used this blue green and a red violet color also for theirs. So they were trying to get a complementary color look to their designs. And again, you see that these students wanted to have their designs open so that you can see through them. It just gives a different effect. Or you can go ahead and have the students glue them down onto a piece of paper or a piece of cardboard or construction board. Well, I hope you've enjoyed learning about quilling. I think it's a great project to do with basic sculpture kids. And you can also take it to the level for middle schoolers, and you can also adjust it for elementary school students. Happy quilling, and thank you for watching this video.